I can usually predict when a woman is about to make a costly real estate decision. She says one sentence: I don't care what happens. I just want to keep the house. You know, I've heard those words more times than I can count, and every time I hear them, I know we're about to have the wrong conversation. Not because keeping the house is a bad decision, but because we've started with the wrong question. I remember sitting across from a woman who looked me in the eye and said those exact words. She said, Tisha, I don't care what happens. I just want to keep the house. There was no hesitation, no uncertainty, and as far as she was concerned, the decision had already been made. And honestly, I understood. The house wasn't just where she lived, it was where her children had taken their first steps. It was where birthdays had been celebrated, where Christmas mornings had unfolded with pictures and carolers, where family dinners had been shared. When everyone else in her life felt like it was falling apart, the house felt like the last piece of stability she had left. So instead of asking whether she could keep the house, I asked her a very different question. And that is, what do you want your life to look 5 years from now? Her face softened. She smiled. I want peace, she said. I want to travel. I want to retire one day without worrying about money. I want to help my grandchildren with college. I want choices. I sat back and nodded. Then I asked one more question. Can this house, this particular house, help you build that life? The room got quiet because for the first time, she stopped thinking about what the house meant. And she started thinking about what the house actually required. The mortgage, the property taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs, the unexpected expenses that seem to arrive when you least expect them. Then we explored a few possibilities. What if refinancing didn't work out? What if her income changed? What if every extra dollar she earned went towards maintaining that house instead of building the future she had just described? And that's when everything shifted. She realized she wasn't deciding whether to keep a house. She was deciding whether that house supported the life she wanted to create. Now, you see, those are two completely different decisions. And that's one of the biggest myths I see during divorce. Women are led to believe that if they can keep the house, they've won. And sometimes that's absolutely true. I've helped many women keep their homes, and it was the right decision for them. But I've also seen situations where keeping the house quietly limited their financial flexibility for years. Not because the house was a bad asset, but because it demanded more than it gave back. That's why I never begin with the question, can you keep the house? I begin with a very different question. Should you? One question is driven by emotion. The other is guided by strategy. Strategy requires looking beyond today's emotions and asking bigger questions. Does this home fit comfortably within my income? Will I still have money to invest, save, enjoy my life even? Can I refinance if I need to? Will this particular decision create more options for me or fewer? Because the goal isn't simply to keep the house. The goal is to protect your future. And sometimes keeping the house accomplishes that. Sometimes selling it creates the stronger financial foundation. The right answer isn't found in the property itself. It's found in the life you're trying to build. So let me leave you with that same question that changed everything for my client. If this house were not filled with memories, if it was just simply another financial asset, would you still choose it for yourself today? And that question has transformed more real estate decisions than any market analysis ever could. So if you're trying to decide whether keeping your home is the right financial decision for you after divorce, Don't make that decision based on emotion alone. Start with strategy. Schedule a decision clarity strategy session, and together we'll evaluate your home, your finances, your options, and the long-term impact of every available path you can take. Because the house is only one part of the decision. The house is the asset. The future is your investment. It's your girl Tisha, your real estate strategist of choice.